Greetings, this is Ice and Quinn, and we're back finally with another episode of Let It Die. Again, you know, I've got a lot of boss battles that I may put up. There's so many on the internet, and so many done far better than mine, that the only thing I have to offer you are alternative ways to fighting bosses, because I take the easy way. Is the one boss battle I did put up, as a commenter did point out that hand-to-hand combat is the I guess common or preferred method of taking out Jindai. I prefer to use poison from up high with gunfire because I take no damage whatsoever. And those are the tactics I typically use, is I will try to play more stealth, more sneaky, utilizing a lot of the materials versus my incredibly poor combat skills. So I might post them if anyone's actually interested. But until then, I'm going to be continuing the series that I have been, which is basically tips and guides on how to get stuff. And I've been a little bit late on these videos, so I have some catching up to do. Today, we're talking about decals, armors, and weapons. That's right. It's important to always have decals on your fighter. As you can see, when you look at the lower center screen there, I have 3 decals. Only one is active presently. That's because that one is related to the type of weapons that I'm using. I believe it's Department of Defense weapons, and I have Department of Defense weapons. You can tell by simply going to the screen and looking at the weapon at the research shop, and it'll give you all the details. It'll say DoD in the background, or any of the Wolf Candle contract, or War Assembly. There's at least 3 different types. There might be more, I'm not sure. The same thing goes, the first decal I have is one for armor. So you notice it's not active right now, even though my boots are just about wore out. So let me go ahead and put that on. There we go. And now it's active. You do have to have the full set on, head, chest, and feet, and that will activate it. The last one actually is a bonus. The center one is the bull, which I believe is a bonus that I get when I'm down to 20% of my health. It might be 15. I do more damage. And the last one I'll be putting on this character is one that when an opponent is at 70% or higher health, I do an extra 20% of damage. So I have both ends covered. It is important in this game to maximize your skills. So the higher level character, this character can have 4 decals. The higher level, more decals, and don't be afraid to lose them because they're so easy to get back. By the time you get above the 10th floor, you'll be getting lots of mushrooms. In fact, we're going to go over here and take a look. This is the 20th floor. Do we have a mushroom? Of course, this time we don't have a skill shroom, we just have a hard shroom. So we have a couple other. Now these would be handy. Again, don't underestimate the mouse shroom. It will give you an instant bonus for. In fact, why don't we just go ahead and take this pistol and get rid of a mouse here. Missed the mouse, really. There we go. Reload that pistol. I might have to drop the last thing I had, yeah. So, well, let's just eat it this way without cooking it. So you can see that right now, in the upper left-hand corner, I have 0 with my rage energy. It went up 1. If you cooked it, it would go up to 3. So it's quite an improvement. I really should eat this shroom here, just to get rid of it. And so this is if you're planning on going into a combat, or you're actually planning on hitting a target with your Linty pistol that you pick up, then eating 1, or if they're cooked, well, 1 if they're cooked, 2 if they're not cooked, then this will give you a big boost when you go into combat. I've already cooked the punch shroom. You cook it. You don't have to cook it, but you should cook it, and then you throw it, and it's sort of like a missile. It'll fly in and hit someone. And we've covered these other critters. I just feel that the mouse shroom is greatly overlooked, and it shouldn't be. So let's head on down to another level. This
Please
is
state your desired
routine
floor.
I typically go through when I log in. go down to 16. Let's see if I can get killed. And what should I be eating? Well, thanks to Chris and the video I did before I vanished for a while, is a life shroom. You can't have too many of those. And anytime you get a chance to pick them up, unless you have something you really need in your inventory, drop it and grab the life shroom, because that's worth all the skulls that you can get.
Our
it
customers
really is.
are steadily
You can only have one at a
increasing.
time, but if you eat it and leave the game, it will just drop in your inventory. So make sure you have space in your
Very much
inventory when
for
you
using
leave.
this service.
So let's go back here, and we're going to try and combo up a few of those. I think I got 3 of these. If we get closer, we'll try this one. This mushroom, that comes from the scorpion. That will increase your combat prowess by 100%, decrease your defense by 100%. If you have a tough shroom, you can counter that. We're being quiet now because we're sneaking up on somebody who's usually not here anymore. They have had an update recently. Oh, you know, it's a she, and she is hidden over there. So now, sometimes you can pull them with a decoy. We're going to try a few of these, actually. Let's try. This is from the crabs. You can increase the amount of damage you absorb. And then let's go with the amount of damage we do. Oh, she won't spot before we get there. Oh, she did. Okay, so... Oh, it's pretty high level, too. Gotta remember which thing to hit it. Okay. Level 74, I think I'm 55. Those mushrooms, which this was really overkill, you see they're still active, but... Well, here's something good we can pick up. They will give you a big advantage, and the same thing with fighting bosses. See, can I hit him with the pistol? We did. Okay, excellent. Reload that pistol. That's another life shroom. It does make a considerable amount of difference when you're trying to defeat humans, or haters, as they're called. And I've got this piece of meat delivered to me. It looks like it does 100% health, and I never eat it. So my advice is eat it. I keep trying to save it, and I'll need to go back and pick that up later after I see what other mushrooms we have. Because if you don't, then you're really pretty much just wasting well, that inventory. There we go. I'm grabbing another one of these shrooms. That'll give me extra strength. We'll go over here and cook it again as well. And I think what happens is just about the middle of the game, players stop relying on... I'll come back for him. The shrooms as much as they perhaps did in the beginning. And even the early ones are still handy later. You can, knock people down, stun them. As you get higher up, the explosives don't do as much, like the boom grenade. Let's kill this one. I like to keep them there, even if I don't use them. I'm surprised I didn't set myself on fire. Ideally, a not that shroom. That's a not that shroom. Now, that is handy, don't get me wrong. That'll help you quite a bit. This one's actually still pretty good at high levels. Not as good as these 2 guys I'm about to pick up, though. So we're going to have to drop some inventory here. We'll see. Well, we don't need to go through all that. Let me go ahead and grab him. There we go. And grab the rest of the things. If you haven't caught the earlier videos on what's on this level, I'll go ahead and show it. Almost sounded like there was a jackal here. So there has been an update to the game. I noticed after the update there seemed to be a little bit more frame rate drop going on. But I think that's picked up, so we're in basically 1.5. It sounds like there's a lot of new changes. If you haven't watched their Twitch stream, do watch their Twitch stream. There's quite a few broadcasters that cover that, so I'm not going to be covering that. It's sort of like the boss battles. So, well, thanks for watching. just trying to point out the importance of combining these decals. Right now, you see I'm using the weapon decal, which is giving me a boost, and I'm using the armor decal, which is giving me a boost, and then I'm using the shrooms, which were giving me a boost. So you can just keep boosting, and that's what you need to do. And if you're not doing it, then, well, start. That's why I'm making this video. I'm assuming you're not a mediocre player like I am, so you'll be able to get greater advantage from it. So until then, if you have any questions, please post them. The comments have been great so far. I appreciate the views, the likes, everything. Keep watching. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be great. Or if you want to see live broadcasts, I try to do on Sundays, sometimes Saturdays. I've got a few different games going on right now. It's warming up for the season, so there's going to be a lot of games coming up. So you catch me on YouTube Live, or you catch me on Twitch Live, or you can follow me on Twitter as Quinn Eisen. Thanks for watching, and as usual, remember to have a good day.